because then we go safe guy and a guy like Robert Woods if he's there, and then after that we were starting. Hey, is Deontay Johnson possibly there? Is a guy like Deebo Samuel who's an upside guy there with injury history but young?
We start flirting with the quarterbacks at some point.
All right, at 5'7", we had Robert Woods come off right away. Juju Smith-Schuster, T.J. Hawkinson, Odell Beckham Jr., Kareem Hunt, Lamar Jackson, David Montgomery, Chris Carson, Deebo Samuel, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, so back-to-back quarterbacks there, and then Chase Claypool.
That was a total of 3 quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Or was it
three total?
What round are we in?
We are in round 6.
Round 6 is always the round I stop, collaborate, and listen, and see what quarterbacks are available.
Yeah.
So I need the list.
Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson. Here, let me clear out everyone else. Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow.
And what receivers are there?
All right. Receivers.
Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert are screaming my names.
All right. Jalen Waddle, Julio Jones, Brandon Ayuk, Rondale Moore, Rashad Bateman, Adam Thielen, Henry Ruggs, Tyler Boyd, Deontay Johnson, Elijah Moore, Michael Pittman Jr.
And then we're going to get Elijah Moore at some point too here. So basically there's Ayuk who we're talking about.
I've been getting him in a ton of drafts, by the way.
I gotta have him. I feel like since we just had a run of quarterbacks right there, it would scare other potential owners after us, and we'd miss out on Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert for sure.
Yep. That's what I'm nervous about as well.
And there's enough younger guys like we mentioned here. Like I would just get in Brandon Ayuk. I literally would be just as happy getting Elijah Moore. I would have the same feeling, you know what I mean, as some of those guys. And we still come up with some upside receivers here. I think we have a really good core with 2 young receivers, 2 young running backs, and a tight end. I would move here for me personally with who's available, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert available. Some of my top quarterback play, I would take one of those guys.
I mean, that was my thought when we made our last pick was when are these quarterbacks going to start dropping? And then 3 of them went immediately. So that's, obviously it's in my brain to think about it right around this spot as well. I don't know that I need to. Who were the wide receivers? I'm sorry. I know that I should.
No, you're good.
We're repeating ourselves.
So the wide receiver, Jalen Waddle, Julio Jones, Brandon Ayuk, the Moores, Rager, Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
One of them will be there when we come back.
They definitely will. And
they're in a tier for
those guys are all kind of clustered together. Yeah, I agree with that. So which one of those 2 quarterbacks do you like?
I would take Justin Herbert.
I love Justin Herbert. I would have no problem taking him here.
I think Trevor Lawrence is but again, it comes down to I've seen Justin Herbert do it, and I love what I've seen.
Absolutely.
And for me, it would even be close between Lawrence and Burrow if it came down to the 2 of them, honestly.
And the fact that we're probably going to draft Mike Williams, it's going to be a good combo.
You had me at Mike Williams. Sign me up.
So take Justin Herbert. So here we are, round 7.
Yep. Real quick recap. We have Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, Antonio Gibson, Kyle Pitts, Jerry Jeudy, and Justin Herbert thus far. You can see that roster there on YouTube. All right, so let's continue with the draft. I'm not going to read the guys in between anymore. I'm just going to tell you some of the best available, and we'll move from there.
Obviously, if they're not there, they were taken. Some of the best available wide receivers on the board here: Rondale Moore, Adam Thielen, Henry Ruggs, Tyler Boyd, Deontay Johnson, Jalen Rager, Elijah Moore, Landry Pittman, guys like that. Running back, it's basically a barren wasteland. There's really no point in talking about it. We just took our quarterback, so we're probably not going to double up there. So it really comes down to, are we taking one of these wide receivers, or do we want to go back to the well at tight end? Guys like Dallas Goddard, Hunter Henry, Irv Smith Jr., Mike Gesicki, and Cole Kmet. So here what intrigues about that is there's one guy in that list who's in that second tier for me. That's Dallas Goddard. And it's a big drop-off. So we mentioned having Kyle Pitts. We might want to back him up here. And I mentioned the name Dallas Goddard. I like a lot of those receivers. I think they'll come back to us. I think we'll be good.
Yep.
Like I would love here to take our second tight end before our third receiver, because now we're in a position we just take that going forward. We can just take value at tight end. Guys like upside guys too, because we have 2 really good tight ends in our eyes in Pitts and Goddard, and then we'll just scrap guys that we think can offer value down the road. Guys like Adam Troutman, Cole Kmet, as they come to us. So I would vote Goddard here.
just so I don't have to worry about and reach for a tight end later.
I feel like we're going to get a real similar wide receiver 12 picks from now. So
I totally agree. And I'm a
tight end.
big fan of best available no matter what.
Yep.
I actually think Dallas Goddard is legitimately the best player on the
Yeah,
board.
all the names he mentioned, that's the one that stuck out to me as well.
So Dallas Goddard, it is. Oh, let me hit play first.
So we're going to take Dallas Goddard. So now we have 2 young running backs. We'll probably be grabbing PPR running backs for bye week fillers and hope our guys stay healthy. We have 2 young receivers, 2 tight ends, and our starting quarterback for a while. So we are in a position we know now, best player available, but we're going to really be focusing on the receiver position.
And really, that's what's going to be kind of jumping off the board, I feel like.
That's where the value is going to be. And that's I feel like if you don't go that way and you go receiver early, you're going to be sitting here late looking at some of these names like, oh, I see. If I want to remember there, I would still have. There's still receivers I have here.
You want to know something hilarious? Not a single receiver went off the board from our last pick to now. So when you said real similar receivers will be available, the exact same receivers are still available.
Refresh my memory if you don't mind.
For me, I mean, it comes down to Deontay Johnson, Elijah Moore. Those are the 2 guys that stand out that offer really good upside. And I know Mike Williams is still going to be on the board in every startup, and I personally, and I know you would too. I still believe. I just can't get off the train. I will still want to grab those shares. The fact that we have Justin Herbert helps me. But when it comes down to Deontay Johnson and Elijah Moore, I'm taking the better overall player I scouted throughout the process. I would, Deontay Johnson got a little bit more drops.
Sure.
I love Elijah Moore so much. I don't know if this is a reach or not, but I would have to have him here. If this was like one of those game shows where they have the golden buzzer where you just outrule all the judges, I'm like Elijah Moore. I have
right.
It's true. If he fades out, if he fades off, it's a round I can miss on. But if I'm going for high upside, the guy who offers me the most upside, because Deontay Johnson looks good, but that was Big Ben arm. We don't know the quarterback situation there in 2023.
Right.
We do know the quarterback situation in New York. We don't know how good it's going to be.
I mean, I think we go Elijah Moore here, and then there'll be guys. There'll be guys available. There'll be an Adam Thielen or somebody like that later on in the draft.
Curtis Samuel, Mike Williams.
It's tough because my heart also wants to go with Elijah Moore, but my head tells me Deontay Johnson should have gone 2 rounds ago. He is a great value here.
It's very good value.
And even worst case scenario, I don't draft planning on trading players. I'm taking best available player, and then whatever happens after happens. He's just such a crazy good value. The ceiling is super high with him. We know Juju's probably gone after the season.
Chase Claypool looked really good.
But Ben Roethlisberger is also going to be gone next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this guy
but
might
we
be.
don't know if Zach Wilson's that guy either.
I know, but Chase Claypool could pass up Deontay Johnson this year as well. I don't think anybody's. I mean, Corey Davis is pretty good, but I'm just going back off the tape.
Yeah.
I like what Deontay Johnson did last year, but it doesn't excite me the same way that Elijah Moore's upside does. I mean, his hands, even that small sample size we got out of the OTAs, that's what I saw. When you hear that and you see it, and that's what you saw on tape.
Look at him in my rankings right now.
That's got him next.
I gotta go flip that around the other way now. That
so you would go Deontay Johnson.
I would have picked Deontay Johnson, yes.
And you would go Elijah Moore.
Apparently yesterday when I updated these, I would have gone Deontay Johnson. But today, now that we're talking about it, I would
changed my mind.
Elijah Moore's the way I'd go.
And I feel terrible because I want to let you get your pick in here, but
you're good.
I would have to go Elijah Moore.
All right, Elijah Moore it is.
I would just because he would go next. And I would never when he pans out. I would never forgive myself.
Right.
That's when I would remember he was there.
I picked
Deontay.
Deontay Johnson. What was I thinking? Big Ben retired, and now they've got a scrub.
And all I would take is Deontay Johnson finishes wide receiver 14, and Elijah Moore finishes wide receiver 13. I'm like, see, told you,
idiot.
Totally redeemed.
I would have won that game.
All right, bunch of receivers, a couple other players went off the board. Trey Lance just went off the board. So we are back on the clock with our 9th round pick at receiver. Michael Pittman Jr. still there. Tyler Boyd, Terrace Marshall, some of the guys like that. Tight end, we've already taken a few, but
I don't even hear the tight end. I really don't. I didn't know. I need to hear a couple running backs. So I just want to offset this because right now, to me, Michael Pittman's screaming to me, "Grab me, grab me!"
So the running back is in a tough spot right now. There have been plenty that have gone, and they've still been garbage for the most part. So right now in the 9th round, we're looking at Leonard Fournette, Kenyon Drake, A.J. Dillon, Mike Davis, James Conner, Alexander Madison, Tariq Cohen, Damian Harris. I don't mind Damian Harris.
Blah.
But yeah.
See, I know it's blah, and I know he's old. But again, there's a name that sticks out to me here.
Is it Mike Davis?
It's Mike Davis.
Obviously. Yep.
One, I like my team that we have built so far. I like it. I think where we're weak at is potentially his receiver, with the depth wise. But I feel this isn't my vote, and sure, but what I'll make the case for is Mike Davis here. We get a starter who's going to start this year on a team that will throw the ball to the running back. Mike Davis looked fantastic last year catching the football out of the backfield. He was producing at a high level in fantasy football. And not that we just need to use Mike Davis. I think if we draft Mike Davis here, this is a really, really good trade option for us going forward.
How far down that running back list was Mike Davis?
If we're talking overall, he's probably about 25 picks down.
Yeah.
That's overall, not just at running back.
I know. I feel like he's a little bit of a reach at this pick.
And for me, it's always best available player. Yeah. I don't think he's the actual best guy. And I think the other part of that could be true as well. If our team's balling out, we're 5-1 to start the year. All right, I'll give a high second for Mike Davis and maybe a little something on top of it.
I agree. It's a little high, but I'm telling you that name starts to I can use him potentially, and if I don't need him come trade deadline, I could trade him for a 23 first. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I think you could, if Mike Davis pans out, he's a low end running back and high end running back too. Come playoff push time, you could trade him for a 23 first.
Sure,
which is crazy value, and that's my mindset in this draft as well. So. What are you thinking, man? I'm leaning. I wouldn't take Mike Davis. Like I said, that wasn't my pick. Right. I would actually just take Michael Pittman.
I mean, I'm taking Michael Pittman. It's Michael Pittman. Yeah. It's Mike Williams.
It's Michael Pittman.
I'm thinking here. These are guys I from the get go that I knew I was probably going to get. Guys are super young that still offer good upside. Michael Pittman could be the wide receiver one in Indianapolis. Offers great upside. Mike Williams has been offering upside for 5 years. Guys like Brian Edwards offers really good upside. These are gambles I like to take late in the rounds. Again, you mentioned earlier upside late. And where do I want my upside? The receiver position where I have the most patience.
Brian Edwards just went.
Ooh, okay. He was a guy. I was like scrolling down this list. I'm like, I think we could probably get him.
It did the opposite of what I did a couple of rounds ago. The screen is just completely yellow right now. All these receivers went. Huge wide receiver run.
Hey, give me who's left.
So the best available period, regardless of position, Michael Gallup, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks, Aaron Rodgers, Leonard Fournette, Robert Tonyan, Robbie Anderson, Darius Slayton, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield.
Override, get him. Come on. Put him on the team, Garrett.
You have to?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, Darius Slayton it is.
We'll see if Mike Davis comes back, right? Now that we're like 2 rounds deeper.
Or Baker Mayfield too.
Oh, Bay.
All right, fine.